and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from What Culture, joined by Phil Chambers from What Culture. This is a nice change from those grumpy bastards.
Isn't it just? Finally some joy on this bloody podcast.
And we are here to review last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Hey,
where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Phil Chambers to review last night's AEW Dynamite. Do you know where last night's show was from?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, indeed. The Lick Your Ass Center in Philadelphia, to be...
Chorus Center.
Huh? Is that what it's called? Okay. A very eventful show. Lots of random appearances, stars on the show. What did you make of the whole thing?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, highlights, and all the MJF stuff.
He's seen everything,
really
isn't he?
entertaining. And like the main event was just a lot of good fun, really. Yeah, it was a good show. I liked it.
Wild to have Kazuchika Okada. That's his in-ring AEW debut. Oh, Dynamite debut, I should say. Yeah. Just bonkers that. And then, a gift I wasn't expecting, let's be honest, for a sting from Tony Khan.
Yep.
We'll get into that.
I guess he owns him now. That's how that works.
There's also the thing of, I've said before how MJF is obviously the best thing going in AEW right now. And it seems day by day, AEW realizes that more and more because he's feuding with about 10 different people right now.
Yeah, and on a run of doing like 2 matches on every pay-per-view.
He's gone down. He's gone from, I'm not going to really do this. I'm everywhere. It's like, hang on. Adam Cole.
Yep.
Roderick Strong. The
Kingdom.
The entire Bang Bang Gang. Yeah, the Kingdom. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Wardlow. Max Caster, the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
There's probably some more I'm forgetting.
Probably. He's all over the place.
I'll get him going after the trios titles in a bit. TNT, all that sort of thing. But yeah, it started the show. I'll dive straight into it with MJF backstage with Renee Paquette calling Adam Cole. He gets a couple of words out about how happy he is that Cole's left that nutter behind and gone and got surgery before we hear, Adam! In rolls Roderick Strong with Bennett and Taven. And Cole rapidly ends the phone call. MJF is like, yep, that's understandable. And Strong says, look, we all know you're the guy who's behind the devil mask, but you know what? I'm going to be a good guy, and me and the guys are going to help you with Bullet Club Gold. And I'm like, oh, you're going to help me? You going to help me, are you? And he wheels Roderick Strong out of shots. Bennett and Taven go after him, and MJF cuts a promo down the lens saying he's going to send Jay White a message tonight in blood. And with everything that Juice Robinson said about him, he's got a bullet with Juice Robinson's name on it. And tonight in Philadelphia, he's not going to miss. But before we can throw to that opening match, the camera cuts to the devil, who just sort of looks at the screen and then shoves the camera away, basically. I like the intensity mixed with the wackiness of MJF.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's basically like MJF kind of doing like an acting show reel all in the space of like 2 minutes, because he goes from, hey, buddy with Adam Cole, to just being annoyed at Roderick Strong, to just flipping on a dime, being super angry at Jay White. He goes through all the emotions that he can possibly get in there. But he's just great.
He's just the best, isn't he?
He's so watchable and entertaining. And it's obviously been revealed now that the devil is going to be Mustafa Ali because of the hacker.
Good point. I never considered that.
See, this and then the thing came in.
This
and then
is why we have
it
you on
goes.
here.
It's the hacker's back.
Oh, I never
thought
about. I never thought about that. The first match is the match for the beautiful diamond ring between Juice Robinson and MJF. And MJF, as I mentioned, is rather pissed off with Juice. It's fine. He immediately chucks his jacket at him, double legs him, and just beats him up. Philly crowd's loving this. Of course, they go out to the floor, and MJF just hoys him around all over the place, chucking him into the barricade, chucking him over the timekeeper's table, aware that he was going to get counted out at one point. So he spits water in Robinson's face, sets him up on a chair, slides back into the ring, flips off the ref, goes back out to hit a charging boot to send Robinson into the front row. He posts him with a slingshot and busts Juice Robinson wide open, and he's about to stamp him face first on the steps, which was a decision, before the Guns cause a distraction to allow Juice to come back and send or pull MJF into the steps, hit a DDT onto the apron. That brings out Switchblade Jay White with his world title. He joins commentary as we go to a break. When we come back, or throughout the break, I should say, Juice has been utilizing MJF's scarf on multiple occasions to choke him. When we come back, he goes for it another time, but this time it's MJF doing it. Juice is furious with all this. The scarf's gone. MJF hits him with corner punches, bites his head. There's a horrible shot of MJF with his mouth covered in blood. Signals for and connects with the kangaroo kick. There's also a bit, I'm not sure if this was the part or later.
It was before he bit him, I think, if you're talking about hitting the head into the turnbuckle.
Great.
And then you just can slowly see the bright white AEW logo just slowly turn red the more he does it.
But the Guns trip up MJF, and that allows Juice to hit an axe kick for a near fall. They exchange eye pokes effectively. He's more of a rake of the eyes, I suppose, from Juice Robinson, but they go for the eyes, both of them. Robinson spits in MJF's face. Ugh.
What a spitting.
Ugh. Hits the left hand of God, hits a powerbomb, but can only get a 2 count. MJF comes back with a double stomp whilst Robinson's arms hanging onto the top rope. Juice gets out of the heat seeker, and MJF hits a dive onto both Guns, who are just causing more interference on the outside. As MJF's climbing back in through the ropes, though, Robinson kicks the middle rope, sort of rope low blow, looks like it's sucked, and hits the Juice is loose. Jay White is losing his goddamn mind on commentary at this. It's only a 2 count, though. So the Guns repeatedly try and get in the ring, or at least get the referee's attention, so that Juice can put on his ring. But MJF puts on the beautiful diamond ring and connects with his punch first, effectively KOing Juice Robinson. But that's not the finish. MJF takes out both Guns and hits the heat seeker for the 1, 2, 3. A 5 in terms of him winning the diamond ring. I suppose we should. I would normally, if there's like a post-match thing, I talk about that, and then we'll talk about the whole thing.
What happens after the match?
Let's break it up. What are your thoughts on the match first of all?
I really enjoyed this match. Just really good, intense TV action brawling kind of thing. I really loved the intensity from MJF, like right from the get-go.
Yeah.
He was like out to get this guy, and then
it's weird as well because they have to be like with the things you said that we're not going to mention again because of
because of
connotations
reasons,
of what we had as
but
well.
I am going to turn you into a bloody pulp. That's what I'm going to do. And yeah, just it was just kind of pure chaos in like the best possible way in terms of like the interference from the Gun Club and stuff like that as well. And like you say, Jay White losing his mind, not only because like Juice didn't put him away, but when like MJF dove through the ropes onto both the Gun Club, he was like losing his mind about he can't do that. They're not even in the match, even though like the whole time they've been interfering in everything.
Yeah, he was also really angry and sort of turned on Schiavone because the moment MJF, when we came out for commercial, was choking Juice with the scarf, he was like, well, that's not fair. You're not allowed to do that. And Tony's like, he's literally been doing it to MJF the entire commercial break.
I was like the bit when Juice Robinson got out of that as well, and then he was like showing the scarf to the referee. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's in this.
Juice is great, man.
Juice is great, completely unhinged
in
the best possible way, and just it brought out like a side of MJF that we don't really see that often in terms of like just pure anger, aggression, like brawling kind of thing. And I really, really enjoyed that.
I love me some, and I know he's a good guy. Well, he's always been a good guy in my eyes, but he's a gooder guy now. Yeah. But I do love, and they had shades of this when it was him and Jericho facing off, who can out-cheat each other.
Yeah. And we're always going to get that, and that's the best side of this sort of MJF character is he can play with those kind of things that not like no other babyface really gets to play with.
He's sort of like when Eddie Guerrero went babyface. Yeah. He can still lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah.
Well, we like you for it now.
The bit when he was like, when Juice Robinson was putting on the ring and then MJF was on the floor and he was also putting on the ring, the look on his face when he was doing that was like the goofiest thing you can possibly imagine. But it was like, yeah.
I've got a bigger and better ring.
It was basically like a Disney villain cackle kind of thing of I'm going to do a thing to you.
The only way that's better is if Juice connects with his ring and it just breaks.
Jeff's like, it's completely broken.
Yep.
That's not it.
Cubic zirconium. Post-match, the Guns obviously immediately dive in and beat down MJF, but here come the Kingdom to make the save. Effectively, they slide in and immediately get knocked back over the top rope whilst Roderick... I thought for a split second the spot was going to be they get knocked out over the... Bennett and Taven get knocked out over the top rope and Roderick Strong finally rises out of his wheelchair to prove that he's fine. But no, he just sat there holding a giraffe Jay White joins the beatdown, and here comes the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass to make the save. They bail, and Jay White cuts a promo whilst Juice Robinson's just crawling around on the stage, saying, look, forget everything that's happened, forget your bloody devil, forget all your stupid mates and all that sort of thing. I am going to pummel your face into the ground at Full Gear, and you're going to breathe with the Switchblade. Colton Gunn issues a challenge for the ROH tag titles at Full Gear, so yeah, MJF's going to be doing double duty. Austin Gunn cuts a promo and goes to do the catchphrase when MJF just tells the Ass Boys to shut the hell up. He says, look, you want the tag match? You got it. But I'm not waiting for Full Gear to get my hands on Jay White's dollar store Jack Sparrow-looking ass. Yep. He wants a match next week, 4v4, them four versus him and 3 partners of his choosing, and he's going to get the Triple B back. And then you hear, Max! 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 And Max says, Roddy, I'm literally right here. You don't need to yell into the mic. You don't need to yell at all, really. And he's like, well, you're going to pick us, right? And he says, Mid-Mike and Mid-Matt can get on Roddy the Simp Strong's wheelchair and roll off a cliff, you bland bitch. Oh, cool. So they're all dead.
That's the end of you.
So Max Caster's like, wait a second, does that mean you pick us? And MJF's like, get away from me, first of all. I've known you since I was 18, Max. A lot of Maxes in here. Max Caster. Yeah. And you think I want to tag with you. I don't like you. I've never liked you. I wouldn't tag with you if I was on fire, and tagging with you is the only way to put the fire out. And Max's response was, Max Caster, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Doesn't even make sense.
No.
He didn't give them a chance.
No.
There was no chance in there at all.
It was like the only way I would tag if I was on fire. That's a chance.
But no, he didn't word it that way.
Even if it was that, I still wouldn't
no
tag.
chance. So there's a chance?
Bowens is like, Max Caster, what the hell are you doing? And MJF, shut up, because everyone loves the Acclaimed. And Caster wants one favor before MJF leaves. Scissor me. No, he shuts the scissors and he leaves. But before he can leave properly, here comes Kenny Omega. This obviously gets a holy chance.
Yep.
And he tells MJF, I'm complicating things for myself here. Tells MJF, I know you got a lot going on. You're telling me, Kenny. I'll cut to the chase. You've got something I want, but I've got something that you want as well. The title's not around your waist, he sort of alludes to, basically. He says, look, I know I might not have a right to ask. I know you're a scumbag, so you probably tell me to take a hike. But nowadays, you're their scumbag. And if you're the champion that I think you actually want to be, maybe you'll hear me out. I want the belt. I reserve the right to defend my streak. And if you are truly better than me and you know it, don't be afraid to show it. Right?
Because you're a poet and you know it.
And MJF says, okay, the Cleaner versus the Devil this Saturday, AEW Collision for the title. May the best man win. They both do their catchphrases. And Kenny has the final word, pulling MJF in and telling him, whispering in his ear, 3 days, bitch. Great stuff, this.
Yeah, ludicrous. This is like Attitude Era levels of just pure chaos, of just stuff happening and people running in, and you're like, what's next? What the hell is coming up?
We've gone from, sorry to interrupt you, we've gone from, well, you can't possibly advertise this person as fighting for the title because they're also a heel or they're also this type of character.
Yeah.
And that kind of spoils this title match that we already know is going to happen. To here's 5 people who probably MJF's going to have to fight next. Okay.
Yeah, setting up a world title match,
Yeah.
a Ring of Honor tag team title
Yep.
match, and a 3-on-3,
4-on-4.
4-on-4 match.
Yeah.
All in the process of like 9 minutes. It's like, I don't even know how you write this. Like, how do you start? Like, I know, let's beat this out and let's go da. How do you get to all those points? And I also don't know.
And it all kind of makes sense. Like, obviously Kenny Omega would want one final shot of stopping him breaking his streak.
Yeah, and then if you throw in what happened with Samoa Joe later, then you're adding even more matches into this one little storyline.
And I should mention, immediately after this, a vignette for Wardlow airs.
Of course.
He's talking about how he was sent into a dark place. He was at home nursing injuries. He was recovering. He was off telly. And MJF's becoming the face of AEW, and everyone loves him. And he watched him, main event, the biggest show in wrestling as world champion. There's nothing left that he can take from me, but I'm going to take everything from MJF. So there's another one to add to the list.
There's another one. It's all happening. And I don't know how long this has been creeping up for, but in terms of, like I mentioned, Attitude Era, just pure chaos of the things. In terms of that late 90s WWE, I think we went through 10 catchphrases in 9 minutes. I counted it. I was like, where have these all come from? Everybody has something. And it was every one of the promos was in order to enable them to do their catchphrase at some point.
Yes.
And it was just the Rock and Chris Jericho going at it back in the day of you're just waiting for the next catchphrase, the next thing. And they've kind of just somehow everybody has one now. I did count just Roderick Strong just saying someone's name, just going Max as a catchphrase.
He's got a t-shirt now with just the word Adam written on it, doesn't he?
So it's just pure chaos. It's set up so much in the future. MJF is surrounding so many different storylines within AEW, which I don't think is a bad thing. And it was just really entertaining, just nuts, but so entertaining.
Right. That's not the last we'll see of MJF, by the way. As we'll say, we'll circle back to that in a bit, because now it's time for, speaking of Attitude Era, Rob Van Dam and FTW champion Hook versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds.
Hey, we are in Philadelphia.
I'll allow it. Yeah, exactly. Alex Reynolds, what are you thinking? What was the conversation that went on backstage? Right, John, we're going to go out there. We're facing an absolute legend in Rob Van Dam and the son of Taz, who just kicks everybody's ass. I want to trash talk him to start the match. Immediately gets taken down. RVD comes in along with John Silver. RVD does the monkey flip and the double clothesline, sends him outside. We go to break. When we come back, RVD's nailing kicks, hits a rolling thunder. That was nice. Reynolds saves Silver, though, and then they just are allowed to double team, I suppose.
Yep.
RVD fights them off. I think there's some crossface shots in there because Hook comes in at one point. He's like, this is how you do crossface shots, boys. It all breaks down. Evil Uno's out there as well, I should say. He jumps in with a chair, but RVD hits him with a Van Daminator. Reynolds gets planted with a 5-star frog splash, and Hook puts him in the red room for the submission. Sorry, put Silver in the red room for the submission victory. A nice, fun match in Philly, like you say.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just kind of the greatest hits of Hook and RVD, and that's kind of all the match needed to be, really. Yeah. You get the big pop for RVD, Hook gets over with him. Really good fun. My one issue with this is kind of one of my larger issues surrounding AEW in general, in that if you just watch Dynamite week to week, that's all the AEW product you watch, when the hell did the Dark Order turn heel?
Yeah.
Because it happened on Ring of Honor and Being the Elite.
Of course.
And it's not been recapped. It's not been mentioned by the commentators in any way. There's been no storyline aspect that's happened on Dynamite since back when Hangman Page still wasn't back with the Elite.
Yeah.
That was the last time this was happening. And so if you've got eyes just going in of the last time they saw the Dark Order, they were best pals with Hangman Page, and now all of a sudden
John Silver was just this lovable guy who fires up, and
And now all of a sudden they've gone full heel to the point where Evil Uno is running in with a chair to try and cheat a victory off Rob Van Dam and Hook. It's well, where the hell has this come from? Just the slightest bit of exposition from somewhere. The commentators saying what's happened on Ring of Honor and Being the Elite, a 30-second video before the match explaining things. Just anything to let you know what has happened, and there's absolutely nothing. And it happens quite a lot in AEW when, if it's probably a little bit different with things happening on Collision, because at least it's a more watched TV show than Ring of Honor and Being the Elite. But you'll still get things that'll happen on Collision and we'll be going on for a month storyline, and then all of a sudden it'll cross over to Dynamite, and then you if you're just watching Dynamite,
the viewing things aren't the same, are they? You're right. Yeah,
it's not the same audience.
It's like saying, "Oh, this big thing happened on Rampage." Did it?
Exactly. Yeah. It's if you just watch Dynamite every week, you'll have no idea that Santana and Ortiz are feuding.
I'm really angry about that, by the way. I'm really upset about that because I've seen bits of it on socials. Obviously, people sharing stuff from Rampage, and I'm like, okay, you don't want to do this on Dynamite. Yeah. That's fine. You literally have a secondary show on a Saturday night that this seems perfect for, and you've hidden it away on effectively AEW Dark.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I know there's a fine line between what AEW do, which is absolutely nothing, and what WWE do, which is
Yeah.
arguably way too many recaps.
Overkill, yeah.
Like slight overkill of ramming it down your face about what happened 15 minutes ago, let alone something that happened on a different show. So there's definitely a fine line in there somewhere, but they need something to overlap. And it's not just to sort of keep people informed as to what storylines are going on, and it's to like advertise these other shows of like Santana and Ortiz are having this amazing feud. Maybe you should go watch Rampage. Like Miro's doing stuff over on Collision.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go watch that. Like there's no talk of that on any of the shows to get eyes over to the other shows, and it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, sometimes I think about, should I allude when we do like the Dynamite preview pod, What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, of course. When we're talking about Dynamite, I'm like, should I allude to something that happened on Collision? I was like, that's going to have no bearing on anything that happens on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit the other way.
And that's not terrible. Like, that's fine if, like, the Collision storylines are the Collision storylines and the Dynamite storylines are the Dynamite storylines, but as soon as things cross over, then you're just causing your own audience to be a bit confused.
And if they're good storylines, Santana and Ortiz, maybe put them on TV shows that people actually watch.
Like, like Athena.
No one's going back to
Rampage.
I'm never going back to Rampage. Yeah. Unless they put like big world title matches on there. And even then, I'd think, well, the title's probably not going to change hands. You might as well, you've got more chance of a title changing hands at Battle of the Sodding Belts. So, anyway, Toni Storm does her movie thing.
Yep.
But now Luther's her butler?
Obviously. I mean, that's the natural choice, right? Surely.
I also liked, damn it, AEW sometimes gets in its own way. Luther's her butler, whatever. Yep. They're doing the picture-in-picture thing. That's fine. I'm not going to have a go. I finally worked out that watching it on Fight, that's in picture-in-picture, Adam. Because I watched it the first time I saw it was when they did the Tuesday Night War against NXT, and I was like, this is going on like a real long time for a silent movie. And you're going up against like Cena and Taker on the other channel. But then I realized, okay, fair enough. Excalibur says, well, that was a movie. And Toni is going to be getting the Women's World title shot, Full Gear, meaning she will face the winner of tonight's Women's World title match between Hikaru Shida and Ruby Soho. No, she's not, because there's another title match, isn't there? There's another one happening, literally on Collision. What is going on?
Even they don't know what's going on between the different shows.
Like, the champion that Toni Storm faces could be neither of Hikaru Shida and Ruby Soho. It could be Abaddon, for example, because they've got a title qualifier, a four-way on Ramp. Tony Khan's got a big surprise for Sting.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Oh, boy. Tony Schiavone welcomes Darby Allin and Sting to the ring. Obviously, Darby Allin's got his arm in a sling because of previous attacks by Christine Cage and trying to flip a children's bicycle at Nitro Circus or whatever it was.
Like you do.
Sting thanks Philadelphia and the fans for all the memories. Thanks Darby Allin for being the best tag team partner he's ever had. He's like, ooh, maybe you're thinking that's a bit controversial, but is what it is. And he thanks Tony Khan for making a phone call 4 years ago to give me a chance to go out on my own terms. I did like the fact that he was seemingly rattling on a little bit. So Tony Schiavone's like, come on, Sting. Come on. And he's like, and now Tony wants the microphone, which pops the commentary. It pops me, to be fair. Tony Schiavone says he's speaking on behalf of Tony Khan. And he says, I want to thank you for what you've meant to AEW. You know, you arrived early 2021. Your final match is going to be at Revolution 2024. We're proud to be a part of your great career. 35 years ago, you put TBS on the map. You put pro wrestling on the map. You know, thrilled to be a part of all this. You're an icon. We've talked about it all week. Tony has a special gift, and that gift is Ric Bloody Flair. What? I get it with Sting.
Yeah.
I don't quite get going after Vince McMahon for sexual assault allegations and then saying, anyway, enough of all that. Here's Ric Flair.
Pointing out that AEW will never hire Hulk Hogan because of these reasons.
Yeah. But anyway, that's nice for Sting. Flair says, there are moments in life that are magical, few and far between. Chemistry, the magic of the chemistry of what you do, making you the best. 35 years ago, he and Sting made history on TBS. Talks about the first Clash of Champions going up against WrestleMania. Talks about them going 55 minutes in a match. Back then, or tonight is hard, and yet Sting never took a deep breath. He lived up to his potential. He's not only one of the greatest wrestlers, biggest celebrities, he's also one of the nicest guys he's ever known. And when he got the invitation from Tony to come be a part of this, he wanted to be here all the way till March. So if Sting's going to have him, Rick wants to ride it out with him. Okay.
Ride those coattails, Sting.
They trade some woos. Rick
chops.
Rick chops Sting, and then here comes Christian Cage to sort everything out.
To fix everything.
Ruin all the fun. He's flanked by Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne, of course, and he says, wow, Tony Khan's a billionaire, and this is the gift he gives you, Sting? He basically gave you a suit, some gold chains, and a black liver. Congrats.
Perfect.
So many good lines in here from
Christian Cage is very good in this.
This was the best part. It's great to see you walking around, Rick. You look fantastic. This doesn't feel like Weekend at Bernie's at all. Crowd's like, ooh. He's like, hey, calm down. Look, I know Rick's not dead. I also know there's no God, because if there was, Ric Flair would be dead 20 years ago.
Huge babyface term from Christian Cage, this.
The Philly crowd didn't know. They were trying to F you, Christian. As if that wasn't bad enough, he takes a shot at the Philadelphia Phillies.
Classic.
And it says, look, last week, Sting and Darby stuck their noses in my business yet again. How's your arm, by the way, Darby? I want to give you one more chance. It's obvious that this isn't going to go away until I make it go away, so I've got a proposition. You've got this beautiful dream, Sting, of making it to Revolution, but I want you gone right now. There's three of us, and there's, once... Rick is one super kick away from his pacemaker giving out. But who knows? At Full Gear, Sting, Darby, get yourself a partner and we can you. Calls for his music, but before that happens, Sting says, whoa, wait a second. Would you? He apologizes and says, I'm allergic to jackasses, but he accepts the challenge.
Yeah. So here it is. Ric Flair in AEW.
Ric Flair's all elite.
I guess the whole dark side of the ring thing has worn off now.
It's
and it's
mad
fine.
how fast. I mean, it's wrestling, and I know this isn't exactly the first time this has happened, but how fast people go, that was ages ago.
Tony's been after Ric Flair for a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't confirmed or set in stone or anything, but there was lots and lots and lots of rumors that he was going to be coming in to do stuff with Andrade.
Yes.
Right before the Dark Side of the Ring.
And they went, Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah. And then the Dark Side of the Ring episode aired, and then you're like, maybe we shouldn't do this. So he's been on the back burner there for quite a while. And I guess Tony just thinks enough time has passed and people have forgotten, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it wasn't the surprise we were pitching on the preview yesterday.
What were you pitching on the preview?
I Googled things to buy a 60-something-year-old man, and I think we found some nice memory foam slippers.
That'd be nice.
Get
some embroidered scorpions on them.
The thing is, it's not like, what's the best way of doing it? It's not like Jericho or MJF or someone else was tweeting about Vince's allegations, and then this happened, and you're like, that's kind of undercut it. Tony would have known that this was coming, and I'm not saying don't call out Vince McMahon. Obviously, he's an old git who deserves everything he gets.
Yeah.
But you kind of undercut yourself completely by doing this, haven't you?
Have your cake and eat it too, Tony. I mean, the most egregious thing about this, say what you will about Ric Flair and everything, is that he didn't come out of a goddamn cake. It was right there, either a giant present or a cake or something, and then they could have pushed Christian Cage's face into the cake, and it would have been hilarious.
I've got a Mr. Burns coming out of Smithers' cake image in my head now.
Ric Flair with his stupid face.
Not the surprise I was expecting. But
maybe you get another present next week, and then that will be the slippers.
More presents.
More presents.
A present every week.
It's the 12 days of Sting.
I'd be into that. Just a game of what on earth is the billionaire going to get him now? Also, what do you buy? What does Sting buy him back as a thank you? What do you get the billionaire?
Well, I don't know, a pay-per-view buy rate.
I tell you what, he could get him. Oh. Well, he might not be able to very soon, and that's tickets to our live show.
Segues.
The Dudley Boys on tour. The What Culture podcast live. It goes down Tuesday, November 21st at the Mosaic Tap in Newcastle upon Tyne. And you really need to hurry if you want to get tickets for that. whatculture.com/tickets. Because, Phil Chambers.
Hello.
Do you know how many tickets we've got left?
I don't know.
3 tickets, bitch. 3 tickets!
3! 3 bloody tickets.
And if you're watching this later, maybe less. whatculture.com/tickets. There's even a chance you can get a very exclusive T-shirt as well that goes with it to prove that you are one of a very exclusive few.
It's purple.
This needs some sort of sound effect. I don't know what, but there's going to be a sound on that board to celebrate it.
To celebrate 3 tickets.
3 tickets.
It's the 3 tickets sound.
There you
There we go. Woo! Get your tickets soon. Sell it fast.
Yeah. whatculture.com/tickets if you want to come to that. Moving on, Renee Paquette is backstage with Chris Jericho. The madness keeps coming, if I read this right, and I don't know if I have or I haven't, but social media seems to suggest I may have. Renee Paquette's backstage with Chris Jericho. Obviously, medical update, he got his ass handed to him by Powerhouse Hobbs. He destroyed him. He pinned him with a knee to the face, obviously, just a few weeks back. And Jericho can't remember being beaten down that badly in his career. What hurts the most is his ego. Well, he's had a few weeks to recover. Now it would be his ego. Back then, it was probably every part of his old body. And basically, he says, I don't know whether after that it's kind of time to hang it up or time to get even stronger and get revenge. Which one's he going to go for? He talks about Don Callis' big family, but Jericho's got friends as well. Bigger even than Will Hobbs. Maybe it's time to give them a call. Phil Chambers. Are we getting Jericho in AEW?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
What?
I was trying to go through this on the news this morning, like, who's bigger than Will Hobbs? And it's...
Bill's a baddie
like
and
an
aligned with
friend,
Ricky Starks.
Yeah. Like an old friend that's bigger than Will Hobbs. So it's just the big...
Goldberg, I suppose.
Old Paulie White.
Mark Henry
Goldberg
is there as well, I suppose.
He's not really his friend, is he?
Oh, yeah, Jericho and Goldberg, they go way back.
Best buds, all that history.
I can't think.
Maybe the nostalgia's there for Jericho.
I'll tell you what.
Someone somewhere got
Michael
into
Hamflett
wrestling because of Jericho.
Yeah. Great Khali.
Great Khali. He's
The latest major jump from WWE. It is weird that when you chat to people and they go like, man, I still remember growing up watching Orton and Cena. And I'm like, oh, you poor things.
Someone got into wrestling in that era. And someone that out there is a big fan of Jericho. If you are, let us know in the comments down below.
Morgan.
If you're a big fan of Jericho.
Don't all go in at once.
Right, tag time. Tag title match even now. The 6-man tag titles from ROH. It was the Hung Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson and Hangman Adam Page versus the Hardy Boys.
Can I do my Jeff Hardy entrance impression?
Go on.
That's about it.
I tell you what,
He's not looking energetic these days.
No. Thankfully, his brother makes up for it in his in-ring work. Oh, no, wait a second. I did... Do you know when... Paul
Isaiah Cassidy makes up for it in his in-ring work. Jesus Christ.
Brother Zay bumping all over the place. Yeah. Fair play to him. Had a real, oh, yeah, I remember when Brother Zay did the high... I was like, oh, that was the thing, wasn't it?
Was the thing.
And they disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm complaining. Not miss Brother Zay. Everyone else. This was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was the Young Bucks and Hangman Page and Isaiah Cassidy having a wrestling match while the Hardys were also there.
Yeah, I've written here a fast opening sequence, which makes sense because Brother Zay started the match. Well, at least he got double teamed early on in the match by the Bucks. Page makes the tag. Matt Hardy comes in and slaps the taste out of his mouth. Hey, we had a game yesterday guessing how long it would take before he did the delete thing, and he held off quite a long time on here.
Did he not do it in his entrance?
Yeah, we didn't count the entrance. He's gonna.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh no, the lights are all gone.
You ruined everything.
I've broken it by doing it fast, too fast.
You just did the step.
What was it? Citric said he almost dislocates his elbow every time he makes his entrance, trying to get it over, basically. Matt Hardy comes in, slaps Page. Obviously, they've got history. Didn't he take some of his earnings at some point in a stupid bloody storyline?
Yeah, I don't know. He's done a lot of stupid bloody storylines.
Get into it. All 6 of them, basically. Jeff blindsides Matt Jackson with a knee. Matt Hardy hits a side effect. Brother Zay takes Nick and Paige outside, and then Matt and Zay mock the Bucks' pose to take us to picture-in-picture. When we come back, Matt Jackson comes back with stereo Northern Light suplexes on Matt and Zay. Paige makes the hot tag, runs wild, fall-away slam on Zay, slingshot crossbody on Matt outside. Zay got hit with a beautiful, horrible, depending on how you judge it, a nasty-looking Death Valley driver. He kicks out. He's about to get hit with a dead eye. Jeff makes the save and does the silly string that Private Party obviously used to do. There's a super kick party, but then Jeff kicks Matt. This is more confusion. Jeff kicks Matt Jackson. There's a twist of fate to Matt Jackson. Zay flies over Matt onto Hangman. Onto Hangman and Jeff, I think, were brawling on the outside. Matt hit a twist of fate, and Jeff hit those brutal-looking swantons. Swanton bomb for a 2 count. Nick dives in to break it all up. Matt sends Nick out. Matt grabs Hangman. Matt Jackson comes in. There's a counter of a twist of fate, a buckshot lariat to Zay, super kick to both Hardys, and the BTE trigger on Zay. 1, 2, 3. The Hung Bucks retain the 6-man, or the whatever they called. Yeah, 6-man titles in ROH. Yeah. I was going to say trios. That's the other one. So too many bloody belts.
Yeah, it was fine, I guess. It was a match.
It was a means to an end to get everyone in the ring for what was about to happen, which was far more memorable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was just the Young Bucks doing Young Bucks shtick with Isaiah Cassidy, and then, like I say, the Hardys were also there. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about it. It was fine.
The WCPW counter on that one.
Ooh, quite high. Young Bucks. Did we?
You had Matt Hardy doing
Hangman Page. We had Matt Hardy. 50-50.
You're welcome.
I'll take it.
You're welcome, AEW. Along with your world champion who's doing everything. But yeah, the only thing I'll remember really from this week regarding these guys is, Jesus Christ, what Swerve was up to. Because there was a home invasion angle.
Yeah, he was.
Nice line from Swerve. They break in. Nana's obviously loving this. They break in, and Swerve walks in and says, "Whose house?" Nice.
Obviously. Nana found some chocolate-covered strawberries.
It was the best. It was the highlight of the night for him. All right, yeah. Rip up his kids' photos and threaten his small child in a crib. But never mind that. What about these chocolate-covered berries? So Swerve, takes some art off the fridge, says, "We've got no taste," rips it apart.
Was bad art, to be fair. His children have no talent.
He sits down, he looks at a children's book, and then he hears a noise and takes his camera. And Prince is like, even Prince Nana's like, what are we doing here? Swerve, I don't like this idea. But he puts it down, and I'm like, oh boy. I like the fact that Hangman Page ran out. Like, you're not going to make it home.
I get already it. There.
I get it.
There, Page.
It's kind of, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you just freeze in the ring to react to it, people are like, what are you doing? But this isn't like, oh my God, this is all happening in my locker room. I better go and get, but yeah, it was.
I'm going to run all the way home. I'll save you.
That should be Collision. He's halfway there. Swerve's like, I've gone.
It's over, mate.
So he sets up this camera. You can see the cribs there, and not Hamlet's cribs, the cribs.
The good cribs.
Yeah. He says, "Look, I told you last week, it's not just you who pays for your actions. It's the ones you love. You need to pay your debt. Will it be Hangman Jr.?" And I was like, I love this heel character, Swerve, but what on earth are you about to do? But thankfully, he doesn't do anything to Hangman Jr.
He
simply, presents him with a shirt.
Better gift than Tony Khan's.
He says the kid's forever indebted to him, and it's his father's fault. He'll never forget, and neither will Page's kid. And he leaves the shirt in the crib as Nana's like, should we maybe leave from this deeply criminal act that we're doing right now?
And filming and putting on live TV.
Incredible heat, though.
Brave.
Yeah, but he didn't. He basically threatened to cut off a man's fingers when he's feuding with the Acclaim, so it's fine.
It seems like they can get away with anything. My main question is, why is Hangman Page leaving his child alone in his house?
Just look after himself.
He'll be fine. In the crib, he can't get out. What's he going to do? He'll be fine.
He's got the chocolate strawberries in the kitchen.
He can feed himself. Like, there was no one else there.
Good point. I didn't think about that.
Surely they heard him. They weren't quiet when they came in that house.
I posited this to Anna Louise as I was watching this in bed this morning.
About leaving the child alone.
And not that part. I said, check this out, Anne Louise. Swerve, who she knows a bit about because obviously we met him at Wale Mania, of course. Lovely man at the time. And I said, check this out. He's invaded this bloke's house and is hovering over his child's crib. What would you do if someone did that to Eric? And this is going to get the appropriate heat if Anne Louise's reaction's anything to go by. Renee Paquette's backstage with Adam Copeland, and he's talking about, whatever. I'm still not going to fight Christian. I'll bet he does eventually.
I'll bet he does.
Because Darby Allin...
Especially after this pep talk.
Darby Allin and Sting come in, and they're like, meh, end your career, right off into the sunset with Christian. But he's not the same guy that you think he is, or you're not watching the television. And Copeland tries to sort of stop Allin, and Sting's like, no, you shut up, actually. You've got blinders on, you bellend. I learned from, Ric Flair, I think he mentioned Luger in there as well, the dirtiest player in the game, and Lex Luger as well, it's fair. If you're going to learn from anyone's mistakes, Sting saying don't trust everyone is a very valid point from history. He says you should see through people like Christian Cage. Listen to me. Open your sodding eyes before it's too late. We go way back. Don't mess this all up now. Get with it. And he just walks off. I thought, jeez. But it was all saying, in terms of what the points that he was making, what Sting said, I suppose you could say.
And folks, where's the lie?
Yeah. If we're going to end up with Adam Copeland, Sting, and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and what's his name?
Nick Wayne, the one who got his tooth knocked out.
I'm game for that. That's some stupid fun nonsense that'll come out at the end of this. Get Adam Copeland to tag team with Sting. That's a weird thing that I don't think I ever expected to see in my life ever. But I think he's right. Adam Copeland needed a little bit of a reality check. Let's say about what's going on with Christian Cage.
He did tell him, go F yourself. The first opportunity he got, basically.
Yeah, it didn't take him long. Really.
It wasn't like, I think I can win this guy over.
We'll have to wait and see. Hamflett brought this up in the office downstairs earlier in terms of the normalization of Adam Copeland on AEW TV, which I thought was a good point in that does he feel that special already? I know it's still early days and you can bring it back for special matches and things like that. But it's he doesn't feel like the huge deal that WWE's Edge in AEW should feel like.
Yeah. I don't know what.
But I don't know
what's been the catalyst for this. It's just it's a valid point. Check it out, whatculture.com, for his ups and downs article on AEW Dynamite. But I think there is some validity to that statement. I've no doubt that they will have shifted loads of tickets, obviously, for the upcoming shows he's going to be there, and like you say, that wild 6-man potentially is huge.
And the first sort of possible face-to-face of Christian Cage and Adam Copeland in a ring. Yeah. Whether Adam Copeland still refuses to wrestle him, he can just tag himself back out, and then he kind of gets forced into doing it at some point during the match. It's going to be fun.
But yeah,
But it just doesn't feel special.
Especially they've got a hot new young talent like Ric Flair coming in now, so...
It also means we're rejoining the Police and U2 together in a match. Finally. And something we've always been waiting for. Sting and Edge.
Yes. Get it in the sphere.
How long have you waited on that one, Phil?
Game up straight away.
But yeah, as I said, if you want to know more of Hamflett's thoughts, just timing stuff today.
Just tweet at him.
You can tweet at him at Michael Hamflett, or you can read it at whatculture.com for his ups and downs article. And I'll tell you what, if you like reading about AEW... Michael Sidgwick, why don't you check out Michael Sidgwick's book, Becoming All Elite, The Rise of AEW, 120,000 passionate and insightful words on the rise of AEW.
Every single one of them passionate and exciting?
That's what I've been told. And it's available, if you live in the world, everywhere on Amazon. I'm annoyed Sidge isn't here now as well because, let me just check, sorry Phil, this is very unprofessional. I'm just going to check through my notes here. Yes, the only women's match on the show, and it's just before the main event. Who'd have thought it?
Who knew?
And we had a good chance. We normally guess there was a long time. They tried to change it up a little bit. They cheated a little bit.
Yeah.
They tried once to do, you get a women's match and an intergender match. So that's 1.5. And they've tried occasionally putting it in the first hour, but this was back to the good old days. Co-main, sort of. The bit before the main event, effectively. 1 hour 20. Hang on, I'm going to check it out because we have people who usually take care of the. Thanks for this sort of thing. At Adam Wilton 4, Adam Blair on Twitter, and Jose Palomares at the Ho 11. Yep, 1 hour 24 minutes 33 seconds. We'd have had a chance this week with that one. But yeah, it was Hikaru Shida defending the AEW Women's title against Ruby Soho. Stupidly suggested that there might be a title change here because how many times is Ruby Soho going to challenge for a title and fail?
All of them, apparently.
You pointed out something as well that I hadn't noticed. I thought you were talking about you were going to say about her hair changing.
Yeah,
but
like I don't know if this is just me not paying attention, but when did Ruby Soho lose Rancid as a theme music? When did that happen?
Was it part of the Outcasts?
Have I just not been paying attention?
You remember you pointed out, I went, oh yeah, oh yeah. Back and forth early on, a unique-looking crossbody out of the corner from Hikaru Shida.
It was definitely unique. It connected to something.
Some part of her body hit
toes, maybe?
Ruby Soho's body, yeah. Soho fought back, but Shida got the corner punches, missile dropkick. Soho bails to the outside, but she pulls Shida off the apron into a no-future kick to take over as we go to a break. When we come back and forth, slugfest. Shida puts her in a torture rack and hits a sliding elbow for a 2 count. Soho rips off the middle turnbuckle pad whilst Aubrey distracts herself with that. Soho does the old Eddie Guerrero spot. She grabs the spray paint can, sprays it a bit in the air, and then chucks it to Shida and sells like she's been the one who sprayed. In amongst all this,
yep.
As Aubrey takes the spray can now. No, that didn't happen. Aubrey was busying herself, I think, again with the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Because she can't have been busying herself with the spray can because Soho grabbed the women's title, goes to glom Shida, but Shida sprays the title.
Yeah.
For some reason, Shida's upset with this.
Because her title got ruined.
It'll wash off. It's the crappy can of spray paint. It'll come off.
Have you ever seen the NWO? That never washed off.
Soho chokes Shida, hits Destination Unknown, and for a split second, I genuinely thought, the title's changing hands. And the moment she kicked out of Destination Unknown, I went, oh no.
And we're back.
So the referee just watched Soho try and hoist Shida into an exposed turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Just like that happen nowadays, do we? Soho hit no future, but as Shida was falling backwards, she somehow hit the katana knee for a 2 count. Soho goes for no future again. Shida avoids it, hits her with the knee. They trade some falls, and Shida kicks Soho into the exposed buckle, hits another knee. 1, 2, 3. Post-match, out comes Luther and Tony Storm to pose with the crowd and them go, well, that's Shida's next opponent. No, it's not Excalibur. But anyway, thoughts on the match?
I mean, I don't want to shoot on the only women's match on the card.
It wasn't great, was it?
But it wasn't great. Something didn't click from quite early on. And whoever came up with the Eddie Guerrero spot, that wasn't good.
It was too much, wasn't it?
It was way too much. It was.
I know we've done a lot of the spray spots.
Easiest Eddie Guerrero spot in the history of the world ever to disprove, because the idea was that she sprayed the spray paint in her face, so you would have seen the spray paint in her face.
Also,
there wasn't any.
Would the title have changed hands on a disqualification?
Yeah, no. It's even more dumb. Didn't even think about that. I was too deep in other dumb to be thinking about this dumb. And then, I'm sure the referee was...
Your thought process is, no, the ref won't throw that out because anything you get away with loads of bollocks in AEW.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fake spray to take the ref to busy herself after I've done the turnbuckle thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to glom her with the title.
Yeah.
But she's going to have spray paint in her hand as I do that.
Because I've just given it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, even if the referee didn't see the actual spray, she definitely saw the aftermath of the title and spray situation. I don't know. It was a mess.
I tell her, I said, she was just going to slam Shida in an exposed turnbuckle and the ref was just going to let it happen. Maybe she thought, well, she didn't DQ her for spraying me in the face. So,
so we can get away with anything now. I don't know. It wasn't good.
It does feel, the women's scene in AEW, and it's not much better on the main roster in WWE. It is in NXT. They had like 5 women's matches on Halloween Havoc. But it does not feel like an afterthought. And I joke about them putting another women's title match, obviously, with the 4-way on Rampage and then the other. It does feel like they went, we've put a men's title match on Collision. Feels a bit unfair if we don't, if we just put a squash match for Toni Storm on there. So let's put a women's title match on there.
I guess.
With a few other people who are definitely not going to be... What
women do we have? I don't know. Some women.
Abaddon. Remember it's nearly Halloween, Put her in there.
Yeah. Was there even... Toni Storm had her...
Maybe my money's on Abaddon now, actually, considering how close we are to Halloween.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, that would be a thing that WWE would do.
Hey, Halloween Havoc's great.
Halloween Havoc was great. Toni Storm had her silent movie. Was that literally the only other women's segment on the entire show as well? There wasn't even like a backstage thing, was there?
Renee Paquette was doing interviews.
Well, Renee, yeah. But...
let me have a quick look.
I think that was it. I think it was just Toni Storm, and then she came out during this as well. Yeah, it's definitely an afterthought. They need to put a hell of a lot more effort into booking this division. There's 6 minutes or so of this match that was also a little bit of a mess. Ain't gonna cut it, I'm afraid.
Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, Anna Jay, and Abaddon.
There you go.
Rampage.
Fine. What's your problem?
It's not gonna be Willow, because that doesn't make sense to have babyface versus babyface.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be Sky Blue, because I feel like she has more corruption to happen. Anna Jay, I suppose you could do that and do more shenanigans with dancing Daniel Garcia, and for some reason Daddy Magic, who now hates this gimmick, despite the fact he's checks notes Daddy Magic. I love you, but I'm so confused by this angle. Abaddon,
Abaddon.
She's on fire. Sorry, I didn't even see that on the graphic. There's electricity, and then Abaddon's just on fire. Is anyone else on fire on the graphic?
I think Abaddon, Anna Jay has slightly caught fire off Abaddon.
It stood too close.
Stood too close to the fire. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Dude, give it Abaddon for the rest of the season.
Why not? Put the title on it. Abaddon versus Toni Storm. There you go. There's a silent movie for you.
MJF, remember him?
Yeah, I do.
He's backstage going, bloody hell, have I got a busy few weeks coming? And Renee's sort of like, yeah, everything all right? How you feeling? And here comes Samoa Joe to walk in applauding, saying, look, you don't seem to have any friends. I'll be your friend. And MJF's like, wow, thanks, Samoa Joe. And Joe's like, wait a second. One condition. I want a title shot. Join the fucking queue, Joe. And he says, look, you don't have to answer now. I know I'll get my answer eventually. And I know you're a busy man with challenges coming in every direction. You're telling me.
I like this.
Would you be friends with Joe if you knew you had to fight him at the end of it?
I think if I was MJF, I would. Because if you can't trust anyone, then the one person you can trust is the person you know you can't trust. And so
it looks cool hanging out with Joe with all those like cigar segments and him resplendent in his suits, and he's kicking ass, obviously.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to the match eventually, but I just like this as it's good little move from Joe. Really fits in with the character of what he is right now. Like you say, with the cigar smoking thing.
Yeah,
he knows what he wants. He knows that this is the way to get it. Let's just go get that and to get what I want.
You know, I've bitched and moaned for many a time on this podcast about AEW losing its way recently, but I will channel my inner Michael Sidgwick in terms of praising the new, as his book, praising the interweaving storylines here of not only Adam Cole coming back and going, sorry, Samoa Joe's your best friend now, is he? Not only Max Caster being like,
desperate.
Why have you? What? That's what, I'm trying to be your best mate, and this bloke who wants to kick your ass, are you being friends with him? But Roddy Strong being like, you've mugged me off for the guy who I've got him in this sodding net because of him. I like that.
I like it. It's also the thing, like, you saw how long it took him to finally let Adam Cole in and like properly become friends with him, and he's keeping Max Caster at very much at arm's length, even though he's absolutely desperate to be his friends. Like that's the like I say, the Samoa Joe thing is the only person. Like if you know, okay, this isn't a friends thing, this is a deal to get to another thing. You can respect that and just trust what that is, and that's the only thing he can trust because he still doesn't trust people because he's just so pro.
Maybe Cole's got him into video games now. Samoa Joe's a video games guy, isn't he? He was in what was it, Twisted Metal? He was in
something
that TV show.
Yeah.
Was he chucking around Anthony Mackie? That's the bit I remember.
There you go.
See,
you know things.
I should be on the What Culture Gaming podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. I wouldn't have a clue. But shout out to Scott Tailford, who's a big AEW fan.
Yeah.
And, can I make the announcement? That's on socials, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I'll not, just in case.
Yeah.
Scott Tailford. I didn't say anything.
It's not me.
Main event time, moving quickly along.
Get your tickets to the live show.
3 tickets remaining.
Kazuchika Okada and Orange Cassidy tagging against Danielson and Claudio.
Yep, of course. Obviously.
Okay.
Like you do AEW.
It was funny that they did we're going to have a dream match. And Andrade, Danielson, great. Not necessarily a dream match to the extent. So it's like he had this in his back pocket. All right, you don't want that as a dream. How about this as a dream match? Huh? Okada on Dynamite with Orange Cassidy.
How about that? Yeah.
Danielson and Claudio.
Internet.
So Danielson and Orange Cassidy start us off. At one point, Cassidy just stood up and tagged Okada.
Like you do.
Got a great reaction, of course. Okada comes in, drop toe hold and elbow to Claudio, and he just runs at Danielson, obviously because of their history, who bails. Exchange for forearms and uppercuts between Claudio and Okada. Okada body slams him, and Cassidy hits the most nonchalant top rope. I can't remember if it was a splash or an elbow drop. He just sort of
I think it's a bit of both.
flopped onto him. But Danielson comes back with a diving knee drop to take us to picture-in-picture. Cassidy gets isolated, whole commercial break. Comes back, though, sends Claudio outside. But he takes too long to get over the hot tag and gets cut off again by Claudio, who tries to pull him up by the neck, but gets countered into a DDT. They're both down. They both get to their corners. You know what that means. Danielson and Okada come in. Philly crowd, holy left, right, and center. They lose their minds, understandably. Chops, forearms, brutal-looking shots. Okada ducks some strikes. It's a charging back elbow and a spiking DDT for a 2 count on Danielson. Danielson counted as a tombstone, I think. Stomps his arm and yells he's going to break Okada's arm because of obviously what happened. Does the kicks, but Okada ducks that home run shot of his. But Danielson counters a schoolboy into a label lock. Okada has to use a roll-up to get out of it. They both get up. Danielson misses the Busaiku knee. Okada misses the Rainmaker. Then they just start chopping the crap out of each other again with forearms as well. They collide in the center. In comes Cassidy and Claudio. I love their dynamic, these two. I got to say, Sitch made a really good point. Of arguably in a match featuring Danielson and Okada, I was more excited about watching Claudio and Cassidy get into it.
The sequence that you're about to go through was incredible.
So there's a crossbody from Cassidy, and then he starts doing his lazy kicks, and Claudio's like, come on. And then Cassidy just slowly gets more and more wound up. He's like, no, I'm fired up now. He starts kicking the crap out of him. Cassidy goes for the tilt-a-whirl DDT, but Claudio powers out of it and goes for the giant swing, but Cassidy counters that, and Excalibur was like, counter. Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Good.
Counters into the Stundog Millionaire. Tornado DDT gets a 2 count. Danielson makes the save. He and Okada spill to the outside. And then, hang on, I barely use this all podcast.
Oh my God.
He goes for the orange punch. And the human horse, in the words of Kevin Steen, Claudio Castagnoli, just goes,
nope.
Giant swing time. And then he speeds up halfway through. Insane.
So
puts him in the sharpshooter. Okada breaks it up. Air raid crash. Okada hits his top rope elbow drop, does the pose, which then was combined with a Cassidy hug.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well known for that. Danielson breaks it all up with a top rope drop kick. Cassidy hits an orange punch on Danielson into a Rainmaker.
Oh my God.
Claudio makes the save. Okada gets hit with the springboard uppercut by Castagnoli. Hits a massive pop-up uppercut on Orange Cassidy to get the 1-2 2, 3.
Great stuff. Really, really good fun. Really fast-paced, just nuts action. Like you say, the Orange Cassidy, Claudio Castagnoli bits were just amazing. That, like, because it was like a tilt-a-whirl, and then he stopped him mid-tilt-a-whirl to, like, spine buster him in straight into the giant swing, and then he lifted up out of the giant swing into the Slumdog Millionaire, and then it's like, well, how are you chaining these things together? They don't, like... You know, when you can, like, picture a move going into another move, this was just like, no, not that move. Stop it midway just into a different move.
Brute core strength, isn't it?
So good. I think my favorite part of, which is mad, like the favorite part of the whole match, including Bryan Danielson, Okada, Claudio Castagnoli, was that Orange Cassidy did not look out of place in the middle of all of that at all. And he didn't look out of place in the middle of it whilst also still being Orange Cassidy, like not diminishing any part of his character work throughout the match at all. It was just, he was Orange Cassidy, but on the sort of level of like 3 of possibly the greatest wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Right now. And it just didn't look out of place at all. He held his own in there. He used the character work to the betterment of the match. He made himself stand out through it, but he also like just kept his own energy with it. But also then, like you say, with the lazy kicks, just getting stronger and stronger. It's just so good. Like just hanging with the absolute best of them. Yeah, I loved it.
So Cassidy and Claudio next week for the international title. Love that.
Yep.
And I understand what they were doing at the end to a certain extent of Danielson being like, "Done it again, you prick." He's clutching his face this time, obviously.
Yeah.
There was, I understand, you know, there's a stare down. You've got, not only have you got the BCC, Mox is there, Ute is there, obviously. On the other side, you've now got, you've got Best Friends, Statlander, Hook, Rocky Romero. They're all out there to check on Orange Cassidy. And I think there's a Utah and Hook thing, I think there. I get what they were going for. It just, I don't know. I didn't get quite the intensity. It felt a bit flat, the close of this.
Yeah, I think it's either gone, like in my head, it's gone one of two ways. It's either they had more time remaining on TV than they thought they did at the end of the match. So they've kind of had to like fill that time a little bit. Or it's someone's like gave them all the cue that the cameras had turned off and that they'd gone home a bit early. Yeah. Because it was like, because Brian was selling loads on the outside and everyone was gathered around him, but then it's like, it wasn't that he stopped selling or anything, obviously, but like he changed the way he was facing like it back into the ring and stuff. And it was like, does he think that the cameras have like turned off here? And I think like his selling was really well done. Like everyone gathering around him and like the doctors and things. Really, really good, but it just lingered a little bit too long, and it just feels like either, like I say, they thought the cameras were off and that was it, or like they just had to pad for time a little bit longer than they thought.
Either way, a fun night at the Lick Your Ass Center in Philadelphia. Huh? Okay, is that what they're calling it?
Hey, we're going to be in Philadelphia soon, aren't we? Definitely, yes, definitely, 100% definitely. Manifest.
Come on. But let us know your thoughts on AEW Dynamite, either in the comment section or on X at What Culture WWE. Watch there. You can follow both of us. You can follow Phil Chambers at
Phil My Chambers. You can follow Adam at.
Oh, hello. See, they never do this for me. At Adam Wilbourn. You can follow our producer at.
It's Adam Nicholas.
It's Adam Nicholas, in case the mics didn't quite pick that one up. What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts. We are going to be, the three of us, live on YouTube, 2:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah.
Live production meeting.
Well, we don't know.
Do join us for that one, and there may not be, but there may still just be time to get tickets, because as I said before, Phil, you know, we've got 3 tickets, bitch, left. Thanks for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
All right.
3 tickets left for our live show, whatculture.com/tickets. Do join us for that on the 21st of November at the beautiful Mosaic Tap in Newcastle upon Tyne. Oh, I saw Hamlet share a picture of one of their beers the other day. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be getting very giddy at that show. Do join us for that one. But for now, this has been the AEW Dynamite review. My thanks to Phil Chambers, to our wonderful producer, Adam Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.